Welcome back to the Literary Lounge, where today we are getting lit and talking about a book, specifically The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I'm Emily.
And I am Paige.
And we are sitting here on a Wednesday drinking our signature cocktail for this book, the Fairy Sangria.
If you want the recipe to the sangria and sip while we chat, then you can find that on our Instagram.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Instagram handle is in the bio. Yeah, so let's just dive right into this book.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, well, let's start with the beginning. A lot kind of happens in the beginning.
Yeah, so it starts out, so 3 young girls are at their house. There's Jude and Taryn, who are twins. They are 7 years old, I think. And then their older sister, Vivian, is 9. And they're all hanging out at their house one night, and the stranger bursts into their home and basically kills their parents and abducts them and takes them to this fairy world. And the reason why he does so is because Vivian, the older sibling, is his real daughter. And so the parents that they were living with were the human parents to Jude and Taryn.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vivian's mom was their mom, so they're like half siblings, but her true dad is Murdoch.
Yeah.
Who takes them away.
She definitely started off the book with a bang that hooked me in.
Yeah, it was like super nonchalant, just like the parents are dead and then we're just gonna like move on.
Crazy way to start a book. So these kids are growing up now in the fairy world, which still don't really know what it's called. If it's called fairy or what was the other?
Elfheim.
Yeah, so just to start off, like, one thing I really did not like about this book is the lack of world building and character building. It was very hard for me to stick to it in the beginning just because, like, I had no idea what she was talking about, like, with the creatures, with the freaking clothing descriptions. I could not picture anything. And also that she just like threw around all these names like right in the beginning without any explanation of what they were, like the places in the world and everything.
There's like a couple that I think were pretty easy to picture, like imps or pixies or goblins, like just because they're in like other books or movies that we've seen, so it's kind of easy to like just picture something on your own. But there was other things that she threw around, like names I'd never heard of, and she just would be like, oh, this thing, and then wouldn't tell us what it was.
Yeah.
And I was reading this book on an airplane, so I was like, oh, I don't have Wi-Fi, I can't Google what the heck this is. But even if I did Google it, I don't know if I'd come across anything anyways.
That, and like I didn't want to have to Google everything in this book because there was a lot.
Yeah, we were texting about it and you were like, if I had to Google everything in this book, I would never finish it.
Yeah, it's a lot. These kids are growing up in the fairy world. I think it jumps like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
The kids go to school. I don't think Vivian goes, but the 2 twins go.
Mm-hmm.
Vivian just kind of does whatever the hell she wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't give a fuck.
She's got like a girlfriend in the human world, so she's constantly hopping back and forth. She does not listen to Murdoch at all. Like, she does not care.
Mm-hmm.
But Jude and Taryn are going to school at night. Night is kind of when fairies
are most active. Yeah.
So they're humans literally trying to navigate through the night all the time. But I pretty much pictured this whole book during the day. Like,
yeah.
I just could not picture it at night.
Yeah, you're like, well, you're not going to give me any descriptive terms, so this is going to be what I want it to be in my head.
Yeah. We get introduced to some new characters like Cardan, I don't know his name. Cardan.
The prince.
Yeah, the prince. There's a lot of princes. But then he has like this group of friends that are just completely cruel to Jude and Taryn. They do not like humans at all. They think humans are inferior and just
worthless,
worms and dirt. Like,
yeah,
I think that's how we put it. So the fairies are magical. They have quite the advantage over humans. They're constantly picking on Jude and Taryn.
Yeah, and Jude doesn't put up with it, so I think she is just like fueling the fire. Like, they just bully her even harder because
she doesn't bow down to him like everyone else. She's not
like an easy target, so it's like almost a game to them, I think. But honestly, all the royal princes and princesses in this book, there's like 6 of them that are siblings. They're all kind of nasty. Like, They have ulterior motives. You don't really know if you can trust any of them, or if you're really like excited about the thought about any of them taking over the throne one day.
And in this group of friends that Cardan has, he has this one suspicious friend, Mr. Locke. He kind of flirts a little bit with Jude and like winks at her, and
he's like giving her sexy eyes. She's like, okay, like she's easily like into it. She's kind of naive. I think there's several instances in this book where she just kind of like goes along with stuff.
She's naive, and she has like a one-track mind to becoming a knight. Like that's all she wants, and she doesn't really think through things that well, I don't think. But I mean, she is a teenager. This is a young adult book, unfortunately. I didn't go into that thinking it was. But yeah, so there's a lot of instances where she's getting bullied. There's a few times where she almost dies because of this. But we know that she wants to be a knight. Murdoch, her dad, doesn't want her to be. Yeah, she like wants to compete in this tournament, and Murdoch won't let her, and that's like her father figure now because he killed her parents, so she kind of just has to listen to him. But she kind of is approached by one of the princes who's in line to the throne, and he asks her to be a spy, which she's like, well, if I can't be a knight, that's probably the next best thing.
Prince Dane.
Yeah, what are your thoughts about Prince Dane?
I mean, I didn't personally trust him at this point. Like, we don't know anything about him, and he just shows up at her house and is like, if I make you one of my spies, like, and you agree to do it, I'll grant you this ability to basically deflect any compulsion that any fairies try on her, with the exception of himself. So he can still compel her to do certain things, but nobody else will be able to.
So there's other ways that humans can kind of be compelled, and that's like through eating the fruit, and that doesn't work against this. So she's not safe from that. So if she eats the fruit, the fairy fruit, then she can still be manipulated. And
she does have like a necklace or something that protects her, right, at some point, like before.
That's not from the fruit though, I don't think.
Okay.
I think it's, I don't know, maybe
she was wearing like a necklace that like Murdoch or somebody had given her, like,
of like these, like, was it like berries or something?
Yeah. So there are like ways around it, but this is kind of like the best option, I think, for a human, is to be granted like basically immunity to any of that. So she's down, like she's like, yeah, I'll be your spy, and she's thinking like, I'm finally gonna find my place in this world. And she has this love interest, Locke, like we were saying, and so he's friends with Cardan, but she's just putting all that aside, and she's like into him, stays at his house one night, like nothing happens, but wakes up and literally like his ex-girlfriend's just like hanging out in the kitchen, and she's just like, oh, okay.
Kind of gives a warning too. To her. I can't remember what it was.
She does.
There was this time, like one of the instances where Cardan is like tormenting them while he pushes them in that lake or river or whatever it was, and there's like these things in there that can like hurt them. Why didn't Locke do anything about that? Like he just kind of like stood there.
That
was weird.
Just sketchy. Like, I don't know how she trusted him so quickly, because he's friends with these people that are horrible to her. And it came out of the blue. Like, we never see any romance build between the two of them. You know, you're not rooting for them because there's nothing to root for.
Yeah, well, it also, like, to get them out of this damn river or lake or whatever they're in, Taryn comes out. He lets Taryn out, and she has to, like, make a deal that, like, she won't, was it, like, she won't get in the way of, or she won't, like, help Jude at all?
Something like that.
So Taryn starts to get a little sketchy. But now Jude is the spy, and she has her first mission to go to Prince Balkan's place.
Palace.
Yeah, his palace. And she's like searching through there for anything that can be used against him for the throne.
Yeah, because Prince Dane suspects that Prince Balkan is plotting to poison him, so then he can take the throne. Because the thing about this royal family is that they don't go like in succession. Like, it's not the eldest sibling that will take the throne when the dad moves on. It's like whoever he deems most fit for the position.
So like on this mission, she's like sneaking around this house, and she can lie. That's like one of the things that
Yeah.
humans are good, like they're good for in the fairy world, because fairies can't lie. So she like fakes to be like a maid or something. I don't know what she was, like a human servant. And she's like looking out around through the palace, and she ends up in Cardan's room, and she finds this like piece of paper in there that has her name written all over it, and there's like splotches on there. And I was looking on TikTok, and people are wondering what these splotches are. Are they ink, or are they wine? Are they little
Yuck.
Yeah, we don't know.
I never would have like thought too hard into that. Like, people are just sick.
Yeah, people do. But anyway, she finds this paper, and she's kind of just like, wow, like he really fucking hates me. Like he's just writing my name down over and over again. Like, he really hates me. I kind of thought they could have been tears too. I was like, why? Like water stains?
This is a young adult book. Let's go with that.
Probably a good idea. Yeah, so she finds out that there's something to do with poison, and she brings that back to the court of, what is it?
Shadows.
The court of shadows. That's like the spy lair, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And she meets all the members of that, and she brings that back, tells Prince Dane, and that kind of gets pushed to the side for a little while. Yeah, so did we talk about Valerian and how he tried to kill her and get her to jump off the tower yet? I don't think we did.
No, we haven't gotten into that yet.
I think that we can go into that next. I think that's next.
Yeah, aside from like so if I backtrack a little bit, when she stays at Locke's house, she finds, what is it that she finds?
It's an acorn, a golden acorn.
A golden acorn in the pocket of his deceased mom's dress that she borrows for one evening. And it had some kind of piece of paper that said like protect him or something. And so she starts to wonder like if Locke's mother has something to do with like all this plotting and scheming for the throne.
And that protect him is like implied to like protect Locke and like get him away from all this. So jumping back ahead, after she is done at Balkan's palace, later on, she's kind of cornered by Valerian, and he tries to influence her. What is the...
Like, compel her.
Yeah, to compel her to jump off this tower. And he finds out that she can't be compelled, because she's like, no, I'm not doing that. And so he gets pissed at that, obviously, and she stabs him. And after that, Prince Dane found out, because she kind of revealed that she...
Yeah, basically like exposed the fact that she can't be compelled. So something like they know that something's like up with her.
So he finds out, and he takes her into a room, and since he's the only one who can compel her, he compels her to grab her knife and put her hand on the table, and he wants her to stab her hand. But right when she's about to do it, he stops the compulsion, and he's waiting for her to do it, because he wants her to do it without, like, as a loyalty, as proof of loyalty to him. So she has to stab her hand, and then that's her punishment. But later on, after that happens, there's like knocking at her window at night, or during, I think it's actually like in the morning, because it's like opposites, like they are awake during the night.
We don't know what time of day
anyway,
it is.
He's knocking on her door, or on her window, sorry, and he's pretty much coming there to kill her, and they fight for a little bit, and she stabs him right in the heart, and he's dead. He's gone.
She like literally just rolls him up into a rug, shoves him under her bed, and she's like, I'll deal with you later, and like goes to the crowning ceremony like nothing happened.
And they have maids. Like, how was that not like...
she has that like little like imp, like Tatterfell or whatever, that like helps her, like brushes her hair and styles her hair. I'm like, that'd be kind of nice.
Yeah, right? That would be awesome. She shoves him under there, and she has to go to the ceremony. Oh, also, you know how like they were picking out dresses? What did you think when she got like the most beautiful dress?
Oh,
Do you remember that? I
Yeah.
definitely thought that she was, because like Taryn kept saying that she was going to get proposed to during the ceremony,
Yeah.
and we still don't know the guy.
Yeah.
And when Jude got like the most beautiful dress, I was like, is she actually being the one getting proposed to? Like I like had an idea that she was the one that was gonna end up getting proposed to, and like Taryn like just didn't know. Cause I remember Taryn was like, "Oh wow, like that dress is pretty. Are you sure that's
Yeah.
yours?"
Right.
Yeah. Did you have any thoughts about that?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I kind of wondered if like somebody sent it for her. And I think
Yeah.
at this point too they're fighting, right? Like she's found out that like Locke and Taryn are
No, it wasn't at that point.
it
Cause
wasn't.
no, cause they still didn't know who was proposing.
Oh, but she knew that
Yeah.
Taryn was going to get engaged.
Yes. Yeah. She knew she was gonna get engaged. She just didn't know to who.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just thought that was something interesting. But anyway, they put the dresses on. They go to the crowning ceremony,
Mhm.
and this is where shit goes down.
So basically all of the siblings of the royal family die except for
Just
Balkan.
jump right into it.
Yeah.
You're dead.
I mean, it was like a riot. Like there was chaos. Like
Yeah.
basically, Jude sees her entire family except Murdoch escape. Like she knows that something's up,
Mm-hmm.
and Prince Balkan basically starts killing like his siblings. And then it's actually Murdoch who kills Prince Dane, but it's just all kind of happening so fast.
And she also finds out that Locke is the guy. We didn't see him propose, I don't think, but like like they're Taryn and Locke were by each other and they were kind of getting touchy feely, and she kind of
Yeah.
realizes like,
Mm-hmm.
damn, my sister.
Yeah. So Prince Balkan, like as they suspected, is trying to take the throne. He's looking for Prince Cardan because he has to have somebody with royal blood crown him to be the next heir. And so Prince Cardan's off drunk, like they don't know where he went. Jude finds him though and steals him away, and her and the Court of Shadows basically hide him in their
Yeah.
lair.
And they have to kind of come up with a plan because they don't want Balkan to be the king. He's not a good man. Jude found him like abusing Cardan, like whipping him or hitting him. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, he's not good. He's just gonna bring terror to the fairy world.
Like they're not really sure where they stand at this point, but they do know for a fact that they don't want Prince Balkan to be in charge.
This whole time too, so like thinking back to like the acorn and the message that was in that, some of Jude's spy duties, she had to like shoot this fairy, but it was actually I think like a human disguised as one or something like that, and they find out it's Murdoch's fairy. So like this whole book I was kind of having like is it Oriana, the stepmom?
Yeah.
She was sketchy to me. Like I thought she was like behind like killing Locke's mom the whole time, or she had something to do with it, because wasn't she also the King or Dane's wife at one point as well? Like
she was a consort or something to the king.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I thought she had something to do with it, but we find out like Murdoch has this plan for that's going to help their whole family, and we find out who that acorn really was talking about,
which was Oak, their little brother.
Yeah.
Which the whole time we thought was Murdoch and Oriana's child, but was actually Prince Dane and then Locke's mother's child.
So that's Locke's brother.
Yeah. So they've been actually protecting him this whole time because Prince Dane didn't want any more competition for the throne. So it's basically like planning to kill any sort of child should he have one.
Murdoch has this plan that he wants Oak on the throne, but he'll be the regent, the king's regent, right?
King regent.
King regent, and he will pretty much rule. And so I think he just kind of wanted to be king. Well, he like only wants bloodshed. It's not going to be good if Murdoch is king or the king's regent. And no one really wants Oak to like grow up in that kind of environment. Like Jude really wants him to like have a normal childhood. So she comes up with her own plot. Do you want to get into that?
So she basically schemes that, and she gets Cardan involved and then the Court of Shadows.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually convinces them that Murdoch will be King Regent and Oak will go away and learn from Vivian and her girlfriend in the human world. So Cardan's on board, and the Court of Shadows help her kind of come up with this plan where when Prince Balekin is like trying to get Cardan to crown him, really they're going to crown Oak. But she basically tricks everybody and teaches
Yeah.
Oak to crown Cardan. She says something along the lines of, okay, like, remember what we practiced, and then he, like, sticks the crown on Cardan's head.
That was crazy. I was not expecting that twist. Before that happened, what did you think was going to happen? Like, did you think like her plan was going to follow through, or did you have suspicions of something else?
No, I thought their plan would follow through.
Yeah.
Um, there was no reason to think that it wouldn't. Like,
Did you think anything else was going to happen? Like if Murdoch was going to like kill them or anything?
yeah, I was kind of worried that, like, Prince Balekin would get crowned anyways, like, their plan would fail. But I
Yeah.
never thought that she would throw an additional twist in
I
to their
didn't
plan.
either.
And I don't know if we mentioned this too about Prince Cardan's like true feelings for her. Like
Oh
she learns
yeah.
this
Well,
along,
she learns that like soon or like not long
yeah,
ago when
what
they were
in the
planning.
process of them like planning this
Yeah.
scheme, he basically like tells her that he has feelings for her and he
Well,
thinks about her all the time.
because she asked him about her name.
Yeah, she was like,
That
"Why do
paper
you
she
hate
found.
me so much?"
Yeah. Like, why did you write my name over and over again?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much just said, like, because I can't stop thinking about you.
And they
So,
kiss.
yeah, they have a little steamy kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she tricks everyone. She also had like a 1v1 against Murdoch, which was a
Yeah.
little surprising. What did you think of Murdoch the whole story?
It was kind of tough to decide whether he would go in the villain category or like more of an anti-hero because like he's a murderer, like he killed their parents and then he's like killing the prince and princesses or plotting to. But then he treats them like a lot better than I thought
I thought
growing
that
up.
too.
Like I thought it was going to be like a Cinderella story where like they come back to this fairy world and they're like just wiping the crap off everybody's feet. Like I just didn't think that they would grow up and have this like nice childhood.
Really, the only bad thing that he truly did was murder the parents, which is the worst thing you could ever do to
Yeah.
a kid.
Like murder aside, he's like not that bad.
He definitely raised them as their own, and I think he really favored Jude, and I think he really did want the best for her. But yeah, just in that end, I was kind of surprised that they kind of started fighting each other. Kind of proved that maybe he's really not all for family. He just really wants the power.
Right.
And this whole time in the book, I'm like, dang, like he might really want like what's best for Jude and her siblings. But yeah, he wasn't looking good for him on that part. But yeah, so Cardan is the king, and they send Oak away to the human world to talk or to live with Vivian and kind of turn him like make sure he turns out good. And then when he's ready, he's gonna come back and rule.
Yeah, it's the plan.
I think we also forgot to mention too, Jude has like this, she can compel Cardan.
Yeah, they made a deal and she has like control over him for a full year, which like basically means that she's gonna be in charge for a full year because she can tell him to do whatever she wants.
For sure. I think we kind of like discussed the differences between humans and fairies, but is there anything that like we missed? I know that humans, somewhere in the book, someone said, I think it might have been Oriana, I cannot remember, but that humans are pretty much like vital to the population, the fairy population, because fairies have such a hard time like having kids that they have kids with humans.
Yeah. Fairies live a lot longer than humans too. I don't know how long they live, but it sounded like humans were basically like they were saying how humans just like live and die right away.
Yeah, definitely. What about Jude's other family members? Like, are there any of other ones that are like good to her?
Well, Vivian, obviously, she's like
I like
a
Vivian.
badass. Yeah. I feel like she can be trusted for sure. And then Taryn was just giving me like sketch vibes
She's
the entire
a bitch.
time. Yeah. I was like, what kind of sister like just does this? Like,
And on top of that, your twin sister.
yeah.
I don't know. She was a wimp the whole book. She just made Jude do everything, stand up for her, take like the wrath of all the other teenagers. But yeah, I mean, obviously Oak too. He's just a little kid. He's great to her. I thought Oriana was. I was sketched out from her about in the beginning, but she ended up being pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she was hard on them, but I think she really just wanted what was best, which is what I thought Murdoch. I always call him Maddox, which is what I thought Murdoch wanted. But
I think she was just kind of trying to put up a front,
Yeah.
you know, like she is trying to protect Oak, and so if she has to play like the prissy stepmom to do so, like she's gonna do it.
Are there any other characters that you were like skeptical of throughout the story?
Well, Locke for sure.
Oh, 100%.
Like, we kind of covered that
Weirdo.
already, but like he just kind of came out of nowhere, and I didn't think for 1 minute that they were gonna last.
At any point, did you think Cardan might actually be good?
I kind of questioned it. I didn't think that he was going to be the real problem. Like I was very skeptical of like Prince Dane also. Just said he like showed up on Jude's doorstep and like wanted help. It's like he's got an ulterior motive for sure.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'd probably say about the same. I think I already kind of covered, like, I thought I was skeptical of Oriana. Yeah, and Locke as well. Do you think, like, there was any lessons that were learned by Jude, like, throughout her journey through this one?
I think we'll see, like, in the next book if she actually learned anything. But she was very naive this entire story. Like, was just feeding into everybody that wanted something from her.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a lesson to be learned for like young adults and teenagers that read this book, that like you need to get to know people a little bit, I think, before you put trust in them.
Exactly.
And so TBD on if she learns that lesson.
I think she will. We'll see. Who did you think was the cruel prince? I mean, that's the title of the book. Who is it? There's so many princes.
I don't know. I mean, I think in the beginning I was like, oh, Prince Cardan for sure.
Yeah.
But then Dane was sketch. Balekin was terrible. Like, it could have been any of them, I think, at the end of the day. But I think the author's point was to make you think that it wasn't super obvious who it was.
I agree with that. I think, yeah, like at the end, it is Cardan. I mean, they're all cruel, but I think he is supposed to be the cruel prince.
He had definitely like the most significant part in the book of all the princes.
So the next one's called The Wicked King. Who do you think that is?
I don't think it'll be him. I mean, I think we've gotten to know him enough now where he can be trusted. We'll see, though. Maybe he'll lash out because he just really doesn't want the role. I worry that this book's like gonna fast forward and it's like Oak.
I hope not. It could be. I just have a hard time thinking that it is because, I mean, he's growing up in the human world, but not saying that humans are freaking angels, but
yeah.
I don't know. Like, he's with Vivian, and Vivian's great. But yeah, I guess we will see. What's your overall review for this?
I liked it. I mean, it like lacked serious world building, like you said. But I think in all it didn't bother me too much. I mean, I couldn't put this book down. Like, I was curious to know what was going to happen the entire time. But I think I'd give it like a 3.5 out of 5. Like, it was pretty good, but like it needed more descriptive terms for sure.
I think I'd give it about a 3 out of 5. I was hooked on the beginning and then kind of got slow a little bit for me, and then about halfway through it started to pick up again for me. I was having a little more interest in it. So yeah, I'd give it 3 out of 5. Yeah, I think the lack of the world building and the character building and descriptions, that really was probably why it's knocked down so far for me. I do like fantasy and I do like reading about fae, but it was very hard for me to picture it throughout the book, and I'm sure others have different opinions on that. But after reading ACOTAR, Court of Thorns and Roses, that Sarah J. Maas is very, very good at world building.
Yeah,
and
we've been spoiled by her.
Yeah. So, and I read those like not long ago. That's kind of what I have to compare it to.
Yeah, it's hard not to play like the comparison game with those.
Yeah. Is there anything that you have read recently that you want to give a shout out to, or?
Right now, so actually for like the last year, I've been powering through the Throne of Glass series, which is also by Sarah J. Maas. They're like her young adult novels. So I read like Throne or ACOTAR and like Crescent City like a few years ago. I've been reading those. Loved them, like was obsessed. And I was kind of putting off like Throne of Glass just because it's young adult, and I was like worried it would kind of be like this book, like just not have enough like spice for me, you know?
I like the spice.
Me too. But actually they're spicier than these books for sure. Or
Oh, good.
spicier than The Cruel Prince.
I'll have to give them a try.
They're good. So, but they're very big books. There's 8 of them. So I've been kind of like reading one, and then I'll like read other books and then pick up another one. So I'm on like the 7th of the 8 books right now, and it's like a story about a side character, so it actually like deviates from like the main plot. And the 6th book like leaves you on a cliffhanger. So
Okay.
I'm like reading this next book, like just trying to like, I gotta get through it because I want to know like what's going on with like the main story.
Yeah.
But it's good though. I really like it. I recommend that series for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get into that.
What about you?
I'm currently reading Court of Silver Flames, the last book in the ACOTAR series, and it's been a little hard for me to get through it, but yeah, I think that's only because I don't like Nesta. I'm probably not even 50 pages in yet, but I'm just gonna have to power through it. I'm sure it will change for me. I'm obsessed with those books. I literally read the first 4 within a week, even if it was that.
Yeah.
I could not put them down. But yeah, I think that is probably pretty much it. If you want to continue this chat, go check out our YouTube. This video will be posted. Leave comments underneath. Subscribe to our channel. Next week we will be diving into Local Woman Missing by Mary
Kubica, I think.
Kubica.
That's my guess. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, so join us next Wednesday for more book chats.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, see you next time.
Bye guys.
Bye.